Brother Bob here saying hello and sharing.
Our brains have a hard time with change as doing what we have always done is just easier, but when things are toxic we need change.
Good morning to you, Mary, Kevin, and Zach. I am a phone retard, which is weird as I have decent computer skills. Hence, I am going to suggest we communicate in writing, as I can be more precise in what I want to share. Oh, if only this life were sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. But that would get boring. No, this is one wild carnival ride, whatever this thing is we are going through. So, Zach is struggling, I hear. I understand. No, I really understand. Mary shared that Zach might want to talk with me. I am ready, for I believe I have things to offer to him. We will see. This is part one of several items I will show you. I had a person online pay me to design a transformation program for her. She claimed part of it worked and sent me a generous check. Others have used my transformation is exciting program with success. I have seen many unsettled strugglers in my stumbles through life. I could be a resource for they taught me things. I could start by pointing out how happy people got that way, which I will get to as we travel together. But I want to spend a few moments on those who have struggled and/or are still struggling. These strugglers will get all types, kinds, and flavors of advice on how best to travel. Some of the most common advice passed around is based on ancient myths that rarely work. For example, let's take alcohol and drug treatment and put it under the microscope for a closer look, for many strugglers end up ordered into treatment by threats from law enforcement. This rarely works, but is common for severe cases involving unsettled ones. I will consistently use the terms unsettled and strugglers because I feel they are the best options for fairly describing my fellow primates. They are both tender, helpful describers with less judgment than other terms. All of us humans are attempting to get to an attractive destination, where personal peace and daily contentment are the dominant features. A few lucky ones can navigate this journey with relative ease, or so it can seem. Others struggle because the roads they chose or choose are filled with potholes, dizzy, confusing turns, and end up in dark places. These sinister places can capture you and pull you back when you try different paths or routes. I know much about such journeys. Today I want to share the beginnings of my knowledge. Forced treatment rarely works. The courts and jails are stacked with these people in mostly a revolving door of dysfunction. Although for a few souls, going through detox in jail with ignorant guards as your only helpers, can be so traumatic and scary that it can become a life-changing event, I vote thumbs down on it for most people.
Treating a medical problem as a crime is absurd, but the way things have been designed. And have no confusion, becoming a slave to drug or alcohol is a medical problem. Too many demonize those type of strugglers, but addictions like shopping for meaningless trinkets to fill a hole in one's soul is not punished, but encouraged. Money worshippers and power addicts do much more harm, but their addictions are actually admired, despite all the trouble and conflict they produce. Sex addicts turn one of life's greatest pleasures into a sick, selfish game. Gambling is a common addiction. There are hundreds more.
But the druggy and heavy drinkers are scorned and called weak and undisciplined. The terrible thing is that users internalize the words and think of themselves in similar negative ways. I spent time of this because I want Zach to understand that addiction is way more common than others think. If you are not addicted to something, you are a rare bird. Alcohol and heavy drugs are shitty addictions. Too much trouble. Find something else. It really is that simple. You make it your number one goal to be content most of each day, then heavy drinking and goofy drugs will no longer fit. Smoke or eat some pot edibles in moderation and call it good. The excellent news is that you were not arrested for something, which thickens the plot and makes things rough. You sidestepped that one.
But be cautious, Zach. There is a bunch of nonsense that takes place at these centers. For some, it is time to party with those with the same interests. Many addicts like to play the game of seeing how much they can get away with, like they are playing a part in a B-movie at these centers. The ones to avoid are those who have been court-ordered there. They take great pleasure on getting people to relapse, makes them feel like they are less ill themselves. They are broken people, some of them. Be prudent, not paranoid. And do not start relationships there. Get the information, study it, and start planning as you begin to heal. There is no quick fix. This will take some time. Be patient and gentle with yourself. Fight hard not to see yourself as a weak one who needs help. That is a thinking error, and you will need to learn all about thinking errors because that is where this entire problem started and will end. I think you need to become your own best friend. I can teach you how to do so. Voluntary treatment when the struggler is so unsettled that he recognizes that help is needed and checks in, often will work to stop the negative cycle. Drugs and alcohol can cause damage in the brain, especially in the center dedicated to impulse control and decision-making that druggies and heavy drinkers have shown they can't make at this moment. But make no mistake. This is temporary and not the long-term answer. I visualize it as putting a warm blanket on yourself while trying to sleep on a stone bed. Yes, better than freezing, with no blanket at all, but the actual answer is to get another damn bed. Still, go through the treatment if you sign up for it and learn all you can. Then, move on with the real transformation of your life. I want to discuss the single most poisonous thing you will encounter in this treatment world. The moronic, nasty, tough love crowd. There is nothing tough in dealing with love. It is ridiculous nonsense, an evil chant embraced by so many as wise. Here is my message: go fuck yourself, you cruel bitches and bastards. My eyes have seen and my ears have heard this shit and witnessed its repercussions. It is merely an excuse to exercise cruelty. More on this later, as the tough love pricks have a kernel of proper advice that is true, like a piece of undigested corn in a turd. You don't want to give strugglers money while they are still active addicts, focused primarily on the next high. Yeah, that is true. Doesn't mean you have to be mean about it. Oh, I can hear the wails in the background as the asswipes scream at me for using their own techniques on them. Hey, how does it feel, Cupcake? The people who really know the things that work never give up on a person. Never. Let's look at labels like, he is an alcoholic. She is a meth head. He is schizophrenic or bipolar or has attention deficit. No. He or she is a human being trying to figure out this life. Reducing all the complexities of life into a single describing phrase is not right or effective. Oh, there goes broken-legged Bert. Do I address someone with a broken leg like the condition is permanent? Or refer to Della, a noted author and professor and lovely wife and mother, as diabetic Della? I am out of the mainstream in this, as I will never describe Zach as an alcoholic. Zach is my precious sister's only son who is trying to find his way. He has used alcohol and drugs to solve a problem that temporarily works in the short term, somewhat, but long-term, leads to being continually unsettled and unhappy. This situation is not permanent, nor is it hopeless. I know many who have transformed themselves. I am here to help, if my assistance seems like it has merit. In my next presentation to you, Zach and Mary, I will present how I defeated my gambling addiction. I will share how my friend Jim almost lost everything to smoking crack and recovered to be a respected member and leader of the Clarkston community. I will tell you about a great friend, Shane, whose angel-like parents used his troubling, confusing alcohol and meth overuse to open a treatment facility in a tiny redneck town that has helped hundreds. I will tell you about how I got involved in this world when my boyhood friend, Bobby C., sent me a human ear in the mail during the phony Vietnam War era and died in his own vomit in the corner of a Christmas party. And we will talk about my big brother. Here is a story to end this first presentation. A man fell into an enormous hole in the ground. The walls were too steep to even get part way up. He was stuck with his only option being to yell up at the light of the street and hope for help. A Catholic priest walked by and heard his cries for help. He took out a notepad and wrote down a prayer and tossed it into the hole and moved on. A doctor walked by and heard him yell, "Hey, can you help me out?" The doctor writes a prescription out and tosses it down the hole and moves on. Then a friend walks by and jumps down the hole. His buddy helps him up and yells at him, "What the hell? Why did you vault down here? Now we're both stuck." "Yeah, but I've been down here before and know the way out. Long as I got a heartbeat, I will be there for you. You can transform and deserve to be content with this life. Treatment and working on yourself is not a negative or weakness. You could think of it as a wonderful beginning of what will be a successful journey. The common thread for those who have transformed is how they changed their thinking about life in general and did it for themselves, not for anyone else. You can and will learn to be your own best friend. Put on your big boy pants and let's do the work.